All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's
All
go.
right, we're officially live. Did you hit go live on your Instagram, Senorita?
Yeah, I'm gonna go live.
All right. Welcome everybody. Guys, we these are our first couple lives. We're working out the kinks in the studio, trying to make this sexy and professional. So,
That's
if you
sexy. I
want
don't
to
want people to think this is supposed to be like a sexy live. What are you
look at
talking
this background I used today. This is sexy up in here. This studio is sexy. Now we are gonna go over a new deal every week. So Thursdays at 3 p.m., sometimes 3:05, sometimes 3:10, because we're figuring out this studio setup, but it should be 3 p.m. We're already getting the hang of it. You can watch the best place to watch is the YouTube channel. You guys can see the YouTube channel. We'll be posting it in our bios and in the stories because there you can comment and ask questions and we can go ahead and reply, but you can also see it on our Facebook pages and even Instagram live. The only thing is, if you're watching live on Instagram and you're commenting, I got to flip back and forth to Instagram to be able to see the comments. All the other ones, Facebook and YouTube, they pop up here in the chat and we can even show your question. So it is a much easier production if we do it that way. Now that we're done with the laundry, I got my partner in crime, Miss Ivelis, or if you're in the Midwest, we call her Liz, because I know that's a little too crazy of a name for you.
I got my alter ego today because I put on glasses, so I'm a different person today. So I'm like Superman. Without the glasses, I'm one person. With the glasses, I'm another person. So I'm my analytical self. Anybody that knows me, I'm like analytical, but I'm also, very extroverted. So I've got an interesting personality. But today we're analytical. All right, we got my glasses on.
Ready to go. All
Let's
right.
get
So,
this
guys,
party
we're talking
started.
about a deal we just closed 2 days ago. Liz, you know more about the deal than I do. I was on the back end pulling the strings, but you were on the front end. You want to go ahead and let them know?
Yeah, he doesn't know anything because I'm the one out here that closes all the deals. He's just in the back, and I'm the one that's handling everything. So we thought it'd be fun, guys, that to share with you guys current deals that we're actually be closing or deals that we've closed before, just so you can learn from our experiences and we can share with you like real numbers, what happens when you're actually like in the weeds. This is actually a really interesting deal. So it's a deal that we close virtually. So we do deals locally and we also do deals virtually all over the US. This one we did in DeLand, Florida. If I'm being transparent with you guys, I have no idea where that is. I don't know where half of the deals are when we lock them up if they're not like in my market. So we actually, it was a Facebook lead that we got to tell the story behind kind of the deal and how we got it. It was a Facebook lead. I'm looking at my notes here to try to remember because it's hard sometimes to keep track of it. It's a single family house. He actually had moved out of the area already and the house was empty. He felt like being in the area and in the house wasn't really the best place for him and for his family for safety reasons. He like wanted to relocate. He had already moved out of the house and the house was empty. So it was just sitting empty. He was looking for a quick cash offer and he was ready to get this done. So we got on a call with him, negotiated. Initially he wanted 200K. We got on a call with him, did our thing, and we got him down to 170. But he wanted that to be like a quick cash closing situation. And based on the numbers that we had done on this deal, and I'll pull up my handy dandy calculator to show you guys kind of our thought process behind these deals, is our cash offer on this was 100 to 131. And our Novation offer, we could have gone a little bit higher on our purchase price, but we weren't going to make it work because his mortgage was close to, can't remember the exact mortgage, but it was close to what our cash offer was. So when I'm looking at it from like an acquisition standpoint of like locking up a deal, he owed, I think, close to like 100. Like, so his mortgage was up there. My cash offer was exactly what he owed on the property. So cash wasn't really going to work. So that's where my brain starts to pivot of what else we can offer him. So we ended up pivoting to offering us a Novation. So on that same call, before I went ahead and called the seller, we go through a process where we qualify the lead. Then we have Kevin and another team member of ours analyze the deal. And then when we come on the offer, we have two options available. We have the cash offer and the Novation. He didn't want to list the property, so listing wasn't an option. And the property did need like a good amount of work. So it was between cash and Novation. Those were the only two strategies that we had. Let me share with you guys the numbers on this deal so I can show you kind of like what the back end looks. And this is actually a Novation deal that we just closed. We're breaking down different types of deals for you guys. Novation. I think the week before that, we did a cash deal. creative finance deals, like we're going to give you guys all the goodies of what it looks like to actually lock up these deals.
Yeah, you guys might see on YouTube and stuff, certain people just focus on one thing. They only know how to do Airbnb or fix and flips or how to do well, before I actually do you
Make
want
it
to
bigger.
you want a different view? Is this view good enough for you?
I like it.
All
Let me
right,
just
cool.
make it bigger. So this
We
is
were
the house. So if I change, I got to change the screen. So share this tab. So this is a property, guys. We just closed on it January 27th. So today is, what day is today? 28th?
29th, 2 days ago.
Okay. So 29th. I was actually asking Kevin, like, did we close on it? Did we not close on it? When you're so busy, sometimes it's hard to keep track of what you've got as far as closings coming in. So we just closed on this deal. So it sold for 190. This was a deal that we did a novation on. And let me show you guys kind of the process with this deal. With novations, essentially, for those of you that don't know what a novation is partnering with the seller. The way we like to think about it is you're providing the seller with a hands-off experience. You're dealing with all the challenges of the sale. You're locating a buyer, and any repairs, any closing costs, any commissions, anything that has to happen in the middle, we take care of all of that, and the seller gets their net number. So it's a partnership. It's a hands-off experience is the way that we present it. And with him, because our cash offer was too low, we were able to offer him more money on innovation, and we were able to get the deal done. So it's about like thinking creatively about how we can help the seller, and also, what's going to be the best strategy. So when we're looking at innovation, the numbers are a little bit different. So this last time we ran numbers on a cash deal for a wholesale. So on innovation, what we're looking at is our as is value. So what is a property worth in its current condition without doing any type of renovation to it? What can we list the property for right now? I believe when we ran numbers, we decided that we could list it at 220,000. So it's a little bit different, guys, because this isn't your ARV, which ARV is after repair value. This is your as is value, meaning what it's worth in its current condition. And the way that we figure out what to list innovation at, it's really important because we are structuring a partnership with the seller, and because we want to get this done in an efficient time, like very quickly. When we price innovation, we look at what properties right now on the market are selling for, and we want to undercut everybody and price it very aggressively so we can make sure that the property gets sold really quickly. We don't want to be stuck with this property for 6 months because we are partnering with the seller. So we're providing speed and convenience. So the speed factor really has to do a lot with the price and how we're pricing these properties. So when we did the numbers, well, Kevin did the numbers. I like to talk crap, but he does all the numbers. I'm the closer. He's the numbers guys.
And here, guys, the objective when we partner with sellers is to try to get an offer within 3 to 4 showings. We don't want it to sit there for 3-4 months. The seller starts to get antsy. So ideally, we're trying to, like she said, look at the competition, price it sexy enough, sexy like my background up in here, and be able to get, after the third or fourth person who comes and sees it, try to get an offer. So we're not trying to squeeze every last cent out of it. We're trying to get a good enough profit with the number that the seller wants, and us being able to make a profit and be able to sell this fast.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the notes we have on when we ran numbers on this deal. So my ARV, meaning what the property is worth fixed up, was 270. So 270 would be what, if we were to buy it as a fix and flip or remodel it, put it back on the market, we could sell it for 270. Now the property in its current condition, it wasn't in bad shape, but it wasn't, fully updated, move-in ready. Everything looks great type of property. So we looked at what the as is value, meaning what it could sell for right now and its current market, and we said it was somewhere around 220. But then I'll tell you guys what happened after and after and after and after, because we actually got 3 contracts on this property. Anybody that's in this market right now knows that multiple contracts on deals is like customary, right? You get one buyer, then you get another buyer and another buyer. So we actually had 3 contracts, and we ended up closing the third one but the first 2 contracts fell through. So that's just the nature of the business. So on this one, we realized 220 was our as is value, what it was worth in its current condition. With novations, we always account for 5,000 as far as repairs. Why? Because sometimes we have to do credits. Sometimes, we have to fix some things that are required by the lender. With novations, a lot of times we are selling this property to a finance buyer, not always. And sometimes in the appraisal, they'll come back and say, hey, you need to fix this, you need to fix that. So we always account for that, at least like $5,000 in case we've got to do some clean outs or some minor repairs. And then we do our numbers at 8% always, meaning 6%, because we are paying for the closing costs and realtor's commission, and then 2%. So 6% for agent, 2% for closing costs. We're covering all the closing costs. So we have to take that into account. Now, last week when we ran numbers on a cash deal, right? So we always, cash is a little bit different, right? For cash, we would have had to put 270, and then we're not going
Liz,
to
actually, sorry to cut you off. Can you make that bigger so it's
bigger.
easier to see? Yeah, because the bottom part doesn't matter. We didn't do financing on this.
Okay, let's do it.
Guys, this is a calculator. If you guys want this calculator for free that we use, scan that QR code that you guys see here in the top right, screenshot it, and then scan it. That will go ahead and give you guys the scripts that we use to lock up these deals and the calculator completely for free, and some free training on how to use our scripts and how to use the calculator just for supporting the lives.
Yeah.
There's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is a little bit different in Novation because we're looking at what it can list for, right? Because we're not going to come in and remodel the whole house. And then we're looking at how much money, we could potentially make on this deal and building in our profit margin and our closing costs and our commission. So at 8%, it would have been 17,000 in closing costs and commissions, and then our profit margin, right? At 20% profit margin, we would have had to offer the seller 153, and he wanted more money. He's like, no, I need at least 170. So I went up a little bit lower. Okay, so if we offer him, 164, we're still making 33,000. And then I go down to 10% as like last resort. Okay, so, if we offer him 175 after we pay commissions, closing costs, and we buffer for repairs, we're making around like 22,000. We actually ended up offering him 170. Let me go up a little bit higher. Whoop, like 12.5. 169. So around here. I mean, this is close enough. So we ended up offering him 170. Is it 11.5? There you go. So this is close to what we ended up offering him. So with Novations, right, we are going to be hiring an agent. So the strategy with agents, it really depends. So if it's a property that's outside of Florida, we always hire an agent and we pay out the full 6% commission because we want to make sure we get the local expert in the market and they can help us find a buyer quickly. In Florida, we understand the market pretty well. So in Florida, we do save a little bit of money on the commission because we have a lot of agents that are partners and referrals that can help us. So we don't have to pay the full 8%. So we usually don't end up paying the full 8%. We end up paying a little bit less than that on commissions. But we always budget for it just as like worst case scenario. And sometimes we don't spend $5,000 in repairs. So this is just kind of buffering. Sometimes we make extra money because we buffered in our costs versus like if we were to squeeze this and go all the way to 5%, 11,000 is not a lot of money. When you look at all the potential things, right? If you got to do a repair. So we try to keep it at 10% as like your lowest because it gives you some room to make money, pay for all the expenses you got to pay, and then potential repairs. So we ended up listing this property at 220 initially. And we got a buyer for it. Let me look at the history. So, because just getting the deal, one thing that I've learned in this business is just getting the deal is like the first part of the process. So we get really excited. We've got a deal. Oh my God, we're going to make money. And then there's like 20 different things that happen from beginning to end in the deal that you've got to handle in order to get the deal to the finish line. So we actually went and got pictures taken. We listed the property and we started marketing it. The agent listed the property for us and we started marketing it. And we got a buyer. Our first buyer that came in was at 220, I think. Full price offer. Let me see.
Now, for those of you who are trying to follow, when we partner with the seller, part of our pitch to the seller is we'll handle repairs. So when you see a $5,000 budget, that's us being conservative and saying, I'm willing to invest $5,000 in this deal if the buyer requires it once they do inspections. This is money the seller usually doesn't have, so that's why they're interested in partnering with us. They want their bottom line number. In this case, it was 171. They usually don't like to deal with realtors and showings and trying to pick the right buyer and pre-approval. All of that seems overwhelming or too much of a headache. Those are all the signs of where we can come in as an investor and bring value by partnering with them, being able to invest into the property if it needs fixing, and being able to handle all those things that seem overwhelming to them. That is the reason why, if some of you are watching, saying, why would a seller partner with you guys versus just selling it themselves?
Yeah, I mean, they want a hands in this instance, like he was a busy guy. He was dealing with a lot. His wife was busy. They both had a career and they didn't want to be really around the house or associated with the house. The last thing they wanted to do is go do repairs. Like they just didn't feel comfortable in that house anymore. So it was just a matter of like, I want you guys to handle everything and we want this off our plate because they had other things in their life that were more important than dealing with this house and all of this. So we took over and we handled the problems and we got it to the finish line for them. So I was looking at the contracts, the history, the transaction notes on this is so long. So we had one contract at 205 initially. That was a cash offer, right? And that fell through. I think they had done their inspections and, there was something with regards to the property. There were some things, some repairs that needed to be done with the property and they didn't feel comfortable. So they canceled. Then we had another buyer, December 31st, we got it under contract for like New Year. I was like, yes, we're finally going to close on this property. And then I think that buyer disappeared and ghosted us. No, actually, that buyer also canceled on us. That contract was for 212, 10-day inspection, 2% contribution. And they canceled and disappeared on us. And then we had another buyer that came in for 190, actually, a cash buyer. So we had a cash buyer, finance buyer, cash buyer. They disappeared. We had accepted their offer and they disappeared and never came back, never did the escrow. So all in all, guys, I thought it was 3 contracts. I think we had close to 4 contracts on this. And then we finally found a buyer on the property that came in. Let me see. Third buyer for 180. How much? We ended up selling it for 190, right? That was the final deal that we got.
We can
190.
pull up the HUD. We can show them the HUD right there. So what
Yeah.
happens is they run inspections. They're like, oh, this is too much work. Forget about it. And they back out. That's typical in real estate. After inspection period, you negotiate. If you're not willing to fix it, hey, change the whole roof, change this. You're like, no, I'm not going to do that. We're not going to invest that much money. We're going to do some minor repairs or give some credit. What we're working with is our profit margin, right? Because we're promising the seller, you're going to get the 170. So everything above that is our profit. So the more I give up in the transaction to the buyer, it's more money that's coming out of my side. So for whatever reason, most of the buyers in this particular case didn't feel comfortable. It was too much work for them. They backed out. That third contract, they sent a contract, we signed it, but they never made the actual deposit. So the fourth one, this is the one that came in with the thermal inspection, right? That it was about thinking that there was some humidity coming through the window. Is that the right deal?
No, that was another deal. No, that was another one. So here's the deal, guys. 190 is what
Make
we
it
ended up
bigger.
selling it for. No, I'm
Make it,
trying. The HUDs are really small. It's hard to make them bigger. Yeah, that's as high as I can go. So 190 is what we ended up selling it for. So we had like 3 or 4 failed contracts. It's hard to keep track, but and then so here's our fee, guys. It says SML Investment Group 27,000. So we ended up making 27,000 on this deal on a
almost
no.
28. We're off by like $50. $27,958 of.
We almost made 28. So we were like a couple dollars off from 28.
This lead, by the way, guys, came in through our Facebook marketing. So we run Facebook marketing campaigns to be able to give cash offers. This is something we teach agents, we coach investors or new people that want to learn of how we structure our marketing funnels and our campaigns to talk to 50, 60, 70, 80 sellers raising their hand saying, how much can you buy my property for? And
Yeah.
from there, the skill set that we learn and we've implemented that's different than just traditional real estate is seeing which creative way we can make money with this.
Yeah. So here's a property. I mean, it's in fair shape. Like the kitchen looks nice, the flooring looks decent. So the property wasn't in, there was some area probably needed new flooring, paint, but it wasn't in, really, really rough shape. So this, guys, is a Novation, right? So we went in, we partnered with the seller, we got it on the market, we took care of all the expenses. And then as you see, we had a lot of challenges because we had a lot of contracts that fell in, fell out. And we were able to handle that as professionals, get it to the finish line, solve the problems, get it back on the market. And that was the service that we provided for the seller. So what we do in our business is we provide multiple solutions to sellers. We do cash offers, novations, creative financing, subject to lease options, seller financing, and we also do listings as well. So it helps us kind of match the seller situation with a solution. And in this instance, a novation was the best solution. We
And the
just
reason why the seller wanted to partner with us was exactly what happened. 3 contracts fall apart. You got to be able to negotiate. You got to be able to put it back on the market. This is all within about a 4 to 5 week period.
Mhm.
That to them was like overwhelming. That to them was, we don't have time for that. We're busy. A lot of the times we partner with sellers, they don't even live in the state. So they really want someone that they can trust to handle everything and just get them their bottom line number. So that is where identifying that as an opportunity is valuable. If you're an agent and you're watching this live, a lot of the times you're only trained to see this as, well, let me give you a service and I will list your house. But once you learn how to be a real estate investor, you do both, right? You're like, okay, I can service you and list it, or I can help you buy a property. But is there an opportunity here as an investor, as a real professional in real estate, where you can potentially come in and make a lot more money? So the purchase price on this was what? What?
It
290?
was
No.
no, we ended up having to go back and get a price reduction. So obviously, like we're on this together as a team with the seller. We want to get this to the finish line. And we were very transparent about the feedback that we were getting and that we've had challenges with multiple contracts falling through. And we went back to the seller and we told him, look, we really want to get this to the finish line for you, but these are the challenges that we're having and let's, work on it together as a team. So we ended up having to go back and get a price reduction in order to get the deal done. So we actually ended up, let me see.
At 190, I see it there. So the purchase price that was closed at 190, if we would have just been realtors on the deal, the one trick pony, usually realtors listing the property will make anywhere between 2 to 3%, depending on what they negotiated. So we made 27,000, almost 28,000, $27,958 as an investor who realize what the opportunity is versus just doing a realtor service like we used to do when we first started in the business. That was the first thing we learned. And you would have made 3% of 190. That's a little under $6,000. Look at the difference. We're talking about 3 to 4 times more of that you can make on a deal just by knowing these type of strategies.
And the funny thing is, like, people are like, "Oh my god, why would a seller ever do that?" Or, and the reality is the sellers that we've helped do this, like, sometimes we've made even more money. Like, this is one of, like, the smaller ones. But for the sellers, it's more about the service that we're providing and the convenience and making sure that this gets done for them. This was a complicated deal. I mean, we are experienced. I have 10 years plus of experience. Kevin has, twice that when it comes to real estate. And for us, we had to navigate different challenges, problem solve, negotiate, get it back on the finish line. So like our value is our experience and the fact that we're good at problem solving. But the seller was happy with us. We just closed on a seller. Every time we just closed on a seller, I think another seller Monday, a different story. And he called us and he's like, "Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciated the service that you guys provided and your team." So I think the misconception is like the sellers are going to get upset because you guys made money on it. But the reality is, as long as we did what we said we were going to do and we got it to the finish line, they're happy. We had another one where it was like a $50,000 novation too. And the seller was like, "You guys are amazing." You know, it's good. So it's just about kind of reframing the perspective around your
Setting
value.
the proper expectations, right? Step one is
Yeah.
being able to find the opportunity through the right type of marketing, the right type of networking. Step two is being able to qualify that opportunity and see it for more than what it is. A lot of people would just see it as, oh, this is a client. Let me service them if you're a real estate professional. Or if you're just a real estate investor, you're thinking to yourself, the only thing I can do is either buy it and flip it myself or buy it and rent it myself. But once you learn that there's a whole nother level to this, then you can qualify it and see creative strategies where we didn't put $1 in. We didn't buy this property. We didn't have to take on that liability. We were able to obviously put in time and energy and work behind the deal to then be able to service the client as a partner. And both of us, he walks out with the number he wanted. we walk out with a profit margin. And that is how you start really multiplying your active income and then taking that income and investing it in your own opportunities. Because then we get deals like this and we're like, we want this one. We want to keep this one. And that's how you build wealth. And that little circle of life is what the daily deals
It's all
uh,
about. We'll be here, guys. I love breaking deals down. You know, it's
every week,
every
3
week
p.m. on
we'll be
Thursdays,
here.
unless we're sick or something. But Thursdays at 3 p.m., Smart Money Deals. We'll show you all types of deals. We raise money, we negotiate seller financing. We have a deals that we get 0% interest rate on. We get deals that we fix and flip. We have deals that we Airbnb. So stay with us every single week if you want to learn. We'll give you how we found it, where we found it, what were the challenges, what we negotiated. We show you HUDs, we show you everything. I think the biggest challenge out there is a lot of people are only teaching one technique. It's really good to focus, but knowing how you can make money in different ways. Now you can joint venture with people. Look, I don't know how to do a sub two, but they do a sub two. I'll send them the deal because I learned what a sub two is. Or they fix and flip. I don't fix and flip. I just do Airbnbs. I'll send it to them and fix and flip. But now I know how to spot an opportunity for fix and flip. That's really the awareness we want people to have, that you're leaving money on the table, but by not knowing all the different ways that you can make money in this game
Yes.
without credit, without having a ton of money or even any money, you can raise capital very easily when you find a good deal.
Heck yeah. We'll be here every week. We do have a special event next week, so we won't be here next week. But other than next week, we'll be here. Oh, yeah, we will be here next week. What are we talking
Yeah,
about? I'm
yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah. The
Don't
event was
listen to me,
last week.
guys.
Where it's it. We'll be here next
Don't
week,
listen to
Thursday
me.
at 3. Screenshot and the QR code.
If
The
you want access to our scripts, like we'll give you guys a freebies, all of the scripts that we use, all of the contracts that we use for all types of deals. Scan the little ducky. Does the ducky show up on Instagram too? The
yeah,
ducky?
like right in the middle of the QR code, there's a duck.
And the little ducky. And we'll get you guys all these free resources. We'll get you access to our scripts, everything that we did to get this deal, how we analyzed it, how we got it under contract, what we said. So we can leave you guys with some value. And we do have a community where we teach this every single week. We just had a community member this week that was negotiating a wholesale deal, a cash offer. The seller was like, I need to think about it. And I told him, this is how you have to handle it. He went back on the phones, got the contract locked in, and he's about to make 25K. So it could be that
And
simple.
he did it over the phone, or he went
The
to go see
phone.
him?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I had to reframe his whole world. He's like, no, I got to go see the house in person and like all this stuff. And I'm like, no, you don't. So yeah, he's going to make 25K from just like asking a question, getting the support, and jumping back on a call. So it could really be that simple if you're working with someone that has walked that path and knows exactly what you need to do. So
We locked up this deal over the phone. We actually lock up 95% of our deals over the phone. A lot of our members in our community go and meet with the property. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. A lot of people are Jedi ninjas by sitting in front of people in their living rooms, and they just have great personality, and just being there, they're going to lock up the deal. We teach both methods, either
yeah,
go in person and locking up the deal or virtual. Sometimes time is of the essence and you just got to lock it up over the phone, just like Daniel did by locking up that deal where he's making 25 grand. He literally locked it up, and on the same day, he found a buyer that wants to buy it from him. So he flipped the contract for $25,000. He didn't need no lending approval. He didn't need any credit check. He didn't need cash. He just got the opportunity, locked up the deal, flipped the contract, and at closing, they're going to hand him a check for $25,000. So
I just noticed you took your glasses off. You went reverse Superman on me. You had glasses when we started, and then I just noticed you get your glasses off. We'll be here next week, guys. Every Thursday, we're gonna bring you guys some live deals, and hopefully, we'll leave you with some free value. If you guys want access to these scripts and resources, scan the little ducky QR code, and we'll see
and
you
if
guys
you want to
next.
ask questions, watch this on YouTube or watch this on Facebook, and you can comment, and we see the comments while we're live, and we can even bring your questions live so that other people can read it, and we'll answer your questions live. So if you have questions, watch it on YouTube, watch it on Facebook, Instagram. Their platform does not love questions. You can
Yeah,
still comment on Instagram.
follow me on YouTube. I'm trying to build my YouTube, guys. I'm make my influencer dreams come true. and grow my YouTube channel. I'm posting blogs there. You know, I want to make YouTube fun and real estate investing fun. A lot of people make it not fun. I'm sharing with you guys, you know, what I learned as I evolve in my journey, blogs, buying properties. We're traveling to properties we're buying in other states. So let's make it fun. And I also share with you guys a ton of value about sales negotiations. In the gram and Instagram, you can only see a little clip of me. If you want to see a bigger clip of me with more of me and learning more from me, you know, follow me on YouTube. My YouTube handle is Aidelis, for the gringos out there, AIDELYS _ real estate. Follow me on YouTube. I'll see you guys next week.
We're good. Thank you guys. Every Thursday. See you then. Appreciate you.